So you saw the title of this video, and I'm going to assume you clicked on it because you want to know what to expect in the second leg fixture of the MTN8 semi-final, in which we boast a 2-1 advantage over Stellenbosch FC. Now in this video, what I want to do is I want to look at a couple of screenshots from our previous game against Mamelodi Sundowns, looking at what not to expect in order to build a case for what to expect in this fixture. I hope that makes sense. But before I get to that, I just want to take this moment to thank everyone who's been with me on this journey from the beginning. Some of you joined along the way. Thank you guys for all your engagement. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and interacting with me in the comment section. You guys are the reason for the fast growth of this channel, which has taken me by surprise, certainly, and it's still growing. And thank you guys for that. I beg your pardon. If it's your first time, if I'm unfamiliar on your screen, thank you for tuning in. Please do consider subscribing to this channel. What I do is I'm here at least 5 times a week talking about the mighty Buccaneers, everything in and around the football club. So if that's your sort of thing, click that subscribe button so you can get the videos as in when I put them out. And then there's the people there's the 80%, about 80% of people who are watching these videos repeatedly but haven't subscribed. I hope you guys are finding value in doing that, but I do ask that you consider subscribing since you guys might seem like you like the videos and you're constantly returning. However, thank you for watching. That helps me to just also, if you may, please engage with me, like the videos if you like them. That lets me know what you guys are thinking. All right, let's get stuck in the game now. What I'll do is I'll look at 2 points, which in these 2 points that I'm going to show are some of the things that we did versus Mamelodi Sundowns. And I want to use these 2 scenarios to show you what not to expect, because I really do think they were experimental from our coach. It's something that I bet they had been working on in training, maybe even in preseason, when they're thinking about, some of the fixtures and some of the scenarios that we might come across in the course of the season. These are the things that the coaches and the technical team and the players think about in preseason. So this is a tactic I bet they would have worked on maybe in preseason, maybe in the 2 days or a couple of days, maybe even in the international break, thinking about this Sundowns match. But I do think that this particular strategy is not something that we should expect, especially going into this game, because I think if we go back to our original plan, that's going to be good enough, to beat Stellenbosch, whether it be by them winning in this game. However, with us having scored 2 away goals, then we obviously automatically qualify in that way, whether in this game we draw or we win and things like that. But I do think that if we go back to our initial plan, the point I'm saying is that we will qualify for the final. So the first one is, and I'm going to open a screenshot from the game against Mamelodi Sundowns. In this screenshot, you will see a similar pattern that Orlando Pirates usually, deploy versus every other team except Mamelodi Sundowns. So what's different in this particular screenshot is just the personnel, especially a few people. The first thing we note in this one is that Ndabaiteto Ndlondlo is missing. He was missing from the game because of a yellow card. He'll be back in this game versus Stellenbosch FC. However, where you would normally see Ndlondlo in this particular screenshot, you see Thabang Munari. Where you'd see Thabang Munari, you would see Sepelo Baloni in the screenshot. And the fascinating thing for me is where you'd see Relebogile Ratomo, there is Patrick Maswanganyi, and then over right at the corner of your screen, right at the top rather of your screen, you will see Paseka Mako, and then Zakhele Lepasa right at the corner, and then you'll see Relebogile Mufokeng, where you would see normally Patrick Maswanganyi. And the second point, which I'll explain a bit later, is linked to this particular point. But what not to expect in this fixture coming in is Munari popping up there. We know that I did a video on this talking about how Pirates will build up with that diamond sort of 4 at the back, including the goalkeeper, who is not seen in this particular image. But you'll see Ndabaithetho Ndlondo coming to join the centre backs to outnumber the opposition, to be able to build up the ball and escape that initial phase of build up and go on to the next phase and progress the ball. You'll see Ndlondo pop up there because he's rather more suited in his skill set and what he offers and the things that he's good at to be able to, be that first person who receives the ball from the goalkeeper and the centre backs to be able to progress it. In this game, we see Munari was given that role, and this is the first thing that I think we should not expect tomorrow versus Stellenbosch FC. What I do predict is that Ndabaithetho Ndlondo will be back. He's the one who's going to be popping up in those deep positions, acting as sort of like a single pivot when we try and build up. He's going to be the one that's popping up there. And I'll get to all the other people who are showing up in all the different positions, but let's look at a second picture where you'll see Thabang Munari again is the one that is receiving, is closer to the goalkeeper there, with Sepelo Baloni almost closer to him. But Munari is the one who's kind of being that first receiver from the goalkeeper, and he's being that single pivot. And then Sepelo Baloni is where Munari usually would be, and Munari is where Ndabaithetho Ndlondo would be. Actually, maybe let's even look at a third picture. In this picture as well, you will still see there's Thapelo Xoki, there's Nkosinathi Sibisi, and then Munari is the one who's the dip pivot. And the point I am making is that versus Stellenbosch FC, this is not something to expect. Ndabaithetho Ndlondo is the one who's going to be in that position, and Munari is going to be where Sepelo Baloni is. Right now, this leads me to the second thing that we should not expect. And the second thing is similar to the first. It's very much linked, to the first one. And it is that in this particular game against Mamelodi Sundowns, a few things that the coach tried out. Now, head coaches like to say stuff like, when he tries out a tactic, if it works, there's all the plaudits, people will praise how much he's a genius and things like that. But when you get it wrong, he does look a bit silly for why did he try out certain things. The first thing that obviously he tried out, I've already spoken about, is that Munari was the one who received in that deep lying playmaker role. He was playing on the left side, and I'll come to explain why he was playing on that left side. However, in this first image that I've opened, I want you to look at the positioning of Patrick Maswanganyi. It is the 3rd minute in the game, and the ball is with the goalkeeper there. You'll see Munari, who I've already spoken about, as the one who's closer to the centre backs, and then right at the top of the screen, where you'd usually have the left back, is Patrick Maswanganyi over there. Now, this is something that maybe you guys might have seen in the match, might have picked up, but Patrick Maswanganyi was popping up in this position of left back, to receive the ball in that position. And then where you'd normally have Patrick Maswanganyi, you've got Lebohile Mofokeng there, and then where you'd usually have Lebohile Mofokeng, you've got Paseka Mako receiving over there. Now, the reason why the coach is doing this, and you'll see in the other screenshots that I will open, is that the plan was to, attract the attention of the Mamelodi Sundowns players to Patrick Maswanganyi. So before the game starts, Mamelodi Sundowns will be planning around someone like Maswanganyi, for them to swarm him. I spoke about in my preview before that game against Sundowns that they don't have a defensive midfielder, so the way in which they will want to mark someone like Maswanganyi, that number 10, is the one to swarm him with a large number of players. Now, you guys might get a bit impatient for me to speak about Stellenbosch. This is very much linked to the Stellenbosch game, so if you just hang on a little bit, just hang tight, I'll get to what we need to change back. However, you see Maswanganyi popping up at left back there. Why are we doing that? This is because Maswanganyi will naturally attract the attention of the players. So what Pirates is actually doing here, as you will see, Saleng you will not see, is not showing on your screen right now, but he's very much isolated with Batuwil where he is. So what Pirates is doing here with this particular strategy is we want them to almost overload. So what we want to do is we want to overload that left side of our team so that we can make that isolated situation of Monapule Saleng and be able to switch the ball so we can get those one-on-ones that we want between Monapule Saleng and Batuel. Let me go to the next picture. You will see in this next picture as well, Patrick Maswanganyi is popping up right at the top again, and then you've got Paseka Mako, who's almost inverting and popping up where you'd normally have a 6, or you'd have someone like Mufukeng who will sort of come inside to receive in there in the middle, and then Maswanganyi will obviously be up there with someone like Lepasa. But you've got Maswanganyi again popping up right at the top of your screen on the left side, inverting Paseka Mako to attract that attention. As you will see right now, the Sundowns players are almost having their body shape almost focusing their attention on going towards that side. Pirates is again using the strategy to isolate this side on the right side of Pirates attack, which is Monapule Saleng versus Batuel. And then you will see again in this picture that I've opened right now, you've got Patrick Maswanganyi again in that left side. So this left side of Pirates attack is almost overloaded, and then you've got Batuel, who's almost where centre back would be, because the play is right at the left side. Why is Pirates doing this? It's so that they would hit those big diagonals to find Monapule Saleng. Next picture, it's in the 8th minute now, and something that I want to point out before I go to a screenshot that will show you the situation in which Pirates then hit that long diagonal towards Monapule Saleng is Maswanganyi. The ball was kind of bouncing off him in this particular match. Now, obviously, the coach wants to use Maswanganyi in that regard of placing him in that traffic where the overload would be, because he's very neat on the ball and he can protect it really well and he can carry it and things like that. So obviously he put him in the traffic of the game because he knows that he will retain the ball, and then in retaining the ball he will attract a lot of men towards him, and in attracting the men towards him then we can hit that diagonal to find I beg your pardon, Monapule Saleng isolated with Batuel, the left back. However, the ball was kind of bouncing off Maswanganyi. Sundowns were snapping at his heels. They were pressing him with in a ferocious press and with high intensity, and they were able to win the ball back. And if you will have seen, the space was, behind our fullbacks, because Paseka Mako would switch positions with Maswanganyi and go and almost be like a 10 or a left wing. And then as soon as Pirates won that ball back, they were able to make inroads in those spaces behind the centre backs, where you'd have to have Thabang Munari then go and cover at left back. And you will have seen in the penalty that we conceded, Thabang Munari would be the one that finds himself in that position, or Thapelo Koki would have to go and cover on that left side, where you've got the shape of Pirates having leaning towards the left side. And so this is the reason, this is the strategy that the coach had for the Sundowns game. He wanted to play Maswanganyi there on that left side, because he knows that he attracts that attention. In any football match that Patrick Maswanganyi plays, he's going to attract a lot of attention. So really the weapon was Monapule Saleng and Patrick Maswanganyi. Get Maswanganyi to attract the attention so you can isolate Saleng on the wing and Zakhele Lepasa. When you hit those diagonals, then you've got the 1v1s, and then you've got the movement of Lepasa mesmerizing, the centre backs, with someone like Kutsia always stepping up. Then you've always got him chasing back and trying to, so this was the plan. If it had worked off, really, I think you and I would be saying, wonderful, wonderful plan. And I'm just going to go to that final one, in which you will see that Maswanganyi is coming very deep again to come and receive the ball. He's coming again, Maswanganyi, very deep, trying to attract those Sundowns players. And then once he does that, then the goalkeeper then will hit that big diagonal to try and find Monapule Saleng isolated. Now, it's important to note that coming into this game, this is obviously not Mamelodi Sundowns. It is Stellenbosch Stellenbosch FC, I beg your pardon. The biggest headache whom in the previous matches has been giving us, a lot of problems in that midfield, has since signed for the wrong team. in signing for Kaizer Chiefs, which is Sibongiseni Mthethwa. However, Maswanganyi was playing fairly central in the games that we've played against Stellenbosch FC. He was playing very central, and he was attracting, obviously, the attention of, Sibongiseni Mthethwa. Important to note that, they will not have a player of the quality of Mthethwa, meaning that Maswanganyi will have more space to operate in that central midfield space. With Ndabayithetho and Ndlondlo coming back, in this game, then you've got that extra person who attracts the attention of people. You don't need to then take Maswanganyi to left back and put him in that traffic, which was a bit of a problem for us in escaping. We saw in that Sundowns game. Stellenbosch is another team that likes to press very much, and they press you very high. So I don't think it's going to be a strategy that we will see tomorrow, where we've got Maswanganyi coming to that left back position again. It's because when Ndlondlo is playing that left central midfield position, he's the one that can do that for us, where you've got Mufokeng also coming in to the channel, and then you'll have Marco offering the width, and then Ndlondlo will almost drop in those positions and then attract their attention over there, freeing up those players further up in the pitch, people like Maswanganyi in central positions, whom when Ndlondlo can turn in receiving the ball, can then find in those middle positions. And just like that, then you've got Saleng and Mufokeng isolated. My prediction while I'm talking about Mufokeng is that he will not play Mufokeng. I think he will start with Hoto to offer us the width. When you play Maswanganyi centrally, I think what the coach has started to do now is to play Hoto, because Mufokeng will come in and be a 10 while Maswanganyi is a 10 as well. So I think in this game he'll go for Hoto out wide, knowing that Hoto will give us that width. Maswanganyi will stay fairly central and be able to receive those passes from Ndlondlo, who'll be playing very deep and receiving the ball where the coach was trying to sort of use Maswanganyi in that area to attract attention. Ndlondlo will be the one that is doing that tomorrow for us. Munari will return to his position of, covering Ndlondlo, being the one that does the water carrying for him, so that Ndlondlo can do more of the luxury and fancy stuff for us. And then you'll see when we are attacking, when we are in the final third, Munari will be the one that stays back, and Ndlondlo will again go and join them, Munari sitting and protecting him. So I don't think we'll see Sepelo Baloni. I don't think we'll see Maswanganyi having a poor game like he had, versus Sundowns, because of just the amount of traffic he was finding himself in. And then obviously with the mistakes, he ended up just, the coach feeling that it's better to pull him. He's starting to make a few mistakes, and then Nisedi Kapinga is the one that replaced him in that number 10, and then Hoto replaced Mufokeng because the coach wanted to then revert to our original strategy. So what do I expect in this game? What I think we should expect is what we've always seen, the shape that we always have, the 4-2-3-1, building up with a single pivot, pushing up Munari, and then dropping someone like Mufokeng to come inside to act as a receiver, leaving Maswanganyi almost higher up the pitch. So what they do is they'll switch sometimes. Maswanganyi will be the one that tries to receive, and then Mufokeng will stay higher up. So this is what we've seen all season. I think it's something that we should expect tomorrow, restoring what has worked for us. I think, just to speak a little bit about Stellenbosch, is there are no pushover, and I'll keep saying this. This is a team that has given us, a lot of problems in the games that we've played against them. Even the previous one before and with the red card, we're struggling to score against them. So they'll be missing one of their centre backs. I think it will be Torre who'll be missing tomorrow because of a red card. Muloisane, who received a red card in our game against them, will return to the starting 11 almost certainly, and they've obviously lost Mthethwa. I think whoever that they replace him with, in all fairness, in all frankness, without any disrespect, will be someone of lesser quality. So I do think there's going to be a lot of spaces, more time for people like Maswanganyi. For us, Stellenbosch obviously has to come out of their blocks from the first minute to try and win. I don't think a club like Orlando Pirates, I beg your pardon, Mamelodi Sundowns is in my mind so much after that game. A club like Orlando Pirates will not sit back. So So I don't want you to expect, and I don't think you should expect, that Pirates will sit back and wait for Stellenbosch to come at us, especially seeing that we'll be playing in our own home turf, in our own territory. I think this is a club that, with whatever advantage, whatever the margins are, we're always going to go for it. It's disappointing that we don't do that against a team like Sundowns, but I think against every other club in the league, including Kaizer Chiefs, we will always want to impose and dominate. So what to expect from the first minute? I think Pirates will want to go with their plan. Let's go for them. The good part is the match is set up for our plan. Stellenbosch will obviously come at us. I think they'll want to get that early goal to sort of put pressure on us and make the game hang on a balance, knowing that if they get another one, could be a corner, a set piece. We saw in the last game they scored via a set piece. So they'll want to get that early goal to make sure that they get the game in that phase of uncertainty around the 70th minute mark, where then they start to throw everything. They'll throw the kitchen sink. So they'll want to do that. I think they'll want the early goal. So obviously, this opens up a window for us, an opportunity for us to then attack them. And I always say on this platform that we are the deadliest counter-attacking team in this league. And if any team wants to attack us, including Mamelodi Sundowns, they will not know what hit them if we are doing the right things, if we are employing the right tactics, and if our best players are on it. Then any team will find us hard to live with in this league. Let me leave it here. I think Pirates will obviously go through to the final unless something very shocking happens tomorrow where they completely lose their heads. We obviously lost our last two games. I think the motivation within the players will be very high, firstly to qualify for the final, but also to get that winning feeling back into the team, back into the squad, and with the fans. I think it's going to be a great turnout tomorrow at the stadium. I think having lost that game, Buccaneers are still very much optimistic about this team. We know that we've got a very good team. It's just that at times maybe a tactic here or there will fail us. We're obviously not very experienced at chasing a title. It's been a while since we've done that sort of thing. So we are bound to slip up here and there. However, I don't see any slip up tomorrow. I think with almost certainty, I can say that the final will be Orlando Pirates versus Mamelodi Sundowns, but we've got to play the 90 minutes first. So let's speak after the 90 minutes. Let's see what the Buccaneers will have for us. Until then, up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. I know you're craving some more of Talking Buccaneers content. Well, I have great news for you. If you hit that subscribe button right now, you'll stay up to date with all our future content.